goes to show like your career as an artist and as a person has an arc. You should never just be stuck in one thing. You always got to keep it moving. That's why
platform was a gift.
Akrobatik, man. You got to keep flipping it, reinventing
Akrobatik. Where did that name? So that's where that name derived from.
Yeah, originally it was just, I just wanted a name that sounded dope. I had heard it a couple of times in some songs. Big Daddy Kane had a line, I'm the original Asiatic acrobatic. So
I remember you every time I hear that too. Yeah,
man. So that's from Warm It Up Kane. And
Warm It Up Kane,
Big Daddy Kane last year and got to tell him about that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you told him?
Basically named me, dog. Yeah. So but the name just basically means, like being able to flip any style on any beat. You hear me on one song, the next song is going to be completely different, guaranteed. You know what I mean? And to some degree, I think that has something to do with why I don't have like some huge audience, because there's not like a million people out there that can say, oh, we know what the next, like certain artists, you know what to expect from them. You know what the next song is going to be. Like if it's like a lot of trap artists, okay, so all the beats are going to be trap beats. I like trap, so this artist is going to be somebody that's easy to follow. With me, it's a little different. I dabble with all different times and types of music. I'm eclectic, and I like to keep it that way because I do this for fun.
You never made no trap?
Oh yeah. Oh son, my next
you got something hidden in Pro Tools?
My next track that's coming out is I think most people would consider it a trap, but I like rhyming in double time because I kind of think that way anyway. So like matter of fact, I was telling you about the album I got coming out and how it's like basically talking about some current events.
What's the name of the album again?
It's called Rhyme Capsule. You're one of the first people to hear that.
Yeah.
But like I got a rhyme, a jam on there called House of Horrors, where I'm talking about just like the state of things in America, and I take a couple of jabs at the current administration. So I got a rhyme that's like, look, it's Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers, trailed by a steady crew of psycho liars. They got the people ready to light more fires because we can't trust what the news cycles supply us. Don't fall down that ramp, tramp. You wouldn't want to show off your Vladimir Putin tramp stamp. Your vitriol gets your camp amp, but it's bullshit. We all know you about as bright as a damp lamp. You know what I'm saying? So and
lyrics.
And on the beat, it's even faster than that.
I can imagine,
So you articulately right there. But like, like I said, whatever the style is, man, I'm not going to be trapped in no one era where I can't make no music no more because people ain't listening to that type of shit no more. Whatever it is right now, whatever whatever era it is right now, I feel like I have something that I can contribute to it because I'm still here. And I practice my skills. I work on my skills. I'm disciplined. I work on trying to make myself a better artist every day. That's why I'm in this booth. Even if I'm doing something that I'm not going to record, I might just throw on a beat and just freestyle, doing my breathing exercises, getting on the Bowflex, staying in shape. Because I don't want anybody to ever look at me and be like, yo, Axe passed.
He's an old head. He's too tired. Yeah.
Nah. Not when you got brothers like Chuck D out here, 60 years old, out here in better shape than all the rappers.
You got politicians trying to run the country that's damn near 80, 90 years old. Come on.
Right, exactly, man. So Chuck would tell me I'm still a kid. So I gotta look at it that way.
Peep game though, right? This is what I don't like about that. People saying that, rap is a young man's sport and all. No. The only reason why they say that, and I'm gonna clarify that to anybody who's listening to this podcast, is because it's easier to play a 20-year-old, point blank, period. You can get over on a 20-year-old. So now, if I physically still look, and I'm 40, let's say, and I physically look like 28 or at the most or whatever and stuff, it's a lot of old veterans. I don't want to use the word old. There's a lot of veterans that can outdo a lot of these young dudes on stage, point blank, period. You understand me?
You know what, G, man? I don't even think it's as much of an issue as people think either, because there's a ton of younger artists out there that are doing well, and I like some of them. I think a lot of them are dope, but I just think that if you look at the success rates of rappers, there's plenty of rappers over 30 that are the top dudes. You know what I'm saying? What, Cole is like 35, Kendrick is almost there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got guys like, who's nicer than Black Thought?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at Eminem. Eminem's older than me.
Older than both of us,
yeah. So I don't even think that age is really relevant. I just think that it's something that people bring up, because it's a way to divide us. We're always looking for a way to divide us, to be like, us and them.
Yeah.
The old cats and the young cats.
And conquer,
the light-skinned people and the dark-skinned people. The black people and the white people. The people from the hood and the people from the suburbs.
Somebody said it the other day on Corey's podcast. Somebody said that they don't want the older artists to educate the younger ones, so they try to separate them. They don't want to teach them game. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why
I
they
think
want to do that.
and that extends beyond just art. That extends beyond music. That's just in general. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Make us have a reason to
Yep.
not be unified. That's
Yep.
really all that's about.
It's funny you said that because a lot of when I went to high school, man, when I went to Westinghouse, Brooklyn, and
Yep.
when I went and then I transferred and I did the Burke, Charlestown High, and all other stuff in English High. I got kicked out of all of them. But when I went to all of them joints, I did a tour, a high school tour. It was always this thing in high school, though, yeah, where we the separatism of light skinned and dark skinned and self hate and rate and like amongst our.
Yeah, it's still happening. You know what I mean? That's still a big thing. Like I said, it's almost like it's just people's natural state. It's like it's people's natural state to just try to divide us into categories and compare. You know what I mean? I don't see the necessity in that. There's no one alive who
Yeah.
got to pick what their skin tone was going to be or where they were going to be born or what year they were going to be born. No one got to choose any of that. So it's just like knowing that it's cool to have some pride, but I think too much pride in something like that is like kind of overcompensating for just what you're about as an individual. You know, if you put the categories that you fit in before your spirit and who you really are, then you're kind of doing everybody a disservice, right? Because I mean, there's always going to be black people, you know, but there's only going to be one G black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's only going to be one Akrobatik or however you want to put it. And so I think that is the thing to focus on is our individuality. And then, you know, we need to be unified as people, of course, because then that way, when people try to marginalize us and oppress us and maybe even wipe us off the face of the earth, then we have that level of unification that will allow us to come up and stand up without having to fight with each other on the way to get to the real battle. Because imagine that. Imagine if we're fighting over, well, we got to make sure all the light-skinned people are up in the front.
The dumbest thing.
You know, it's just straight stupid. It's just
straight. You know stupid. How much of it has been more than 400 years, and I know where that comes from. I already know where it comes from. It derives from that kind of thinking comes from the in-house the in-house N-word and the ones out on the field. That's where it comes from.
Right.
So right. It's mental
it was instilled.
Yeah. In us. So the lighter ones work inside, and the darker ones work out in the field. So it comes from that.
Yeah. So you know, that is something that we can't fall victims.
But why so much years passed by? Me and you weren't born into slavery, but why people still have that mindset? You think it's mental illness? You think it's really mental illness?
No, I think that it's that nobody lives for 400 years. So every life cycle of every generation, you have to be retaught. And I think that we've gotten lazy for a few generations and thought that everybody just knew everything. Like the civil rights movement ended, so now everyone is just going to know what that was about and what we were trying to accomplish from this point forward. There's never any problems again. That's kind of how, you know, people with certain privilege look at it. Like, oh, come on, this slavery's been over. I didn't have nothing to do with that. You know, da 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 da.
Try to water it down. Water it down.
But the education.
What it stood for.
You have to keep the education, the connection. You know, you can't have people in 2020 just learning about Juneteenth for the first time as grown-ups. You know what I'm saying? If that's happening, then that tells you that there's flaws in the education system. So, yeah, after all this time, things not really changing quite so much for the better. I would say that the majority of that is due to a lack of consistency in the education of young people. So it's up to our generation right now to make sure these teenagers know what's up. But the funny thing about that, though, is that a lot of these teenagers will educate some folks from our generation right now.
Yeah,
because they are taking it upon themselves to go and look up some of this stuff and find out what's going on in the place of what's not happening at school or at home. You know,
I've met some young kids that got old souls, man. You got some of them out there.
I'm thankful to know some of them, man. Being a teacher in college is phenomenal.
So you're teaching college courses right now, with the emphasis of hip hop history.
Yeah, hip hop history and culture is just strictly that's what my course is about. You know, I get them started in the South Bronx with Kool Herc. Give them the whole timeline. The whole time we go through the semester, though, we're relating all the things that we're learning about the history of the game to what's going on now. So a lot of times the class conversations are a lot like the conversation we're having now. It's just like open discussion. We listen to musical playlists together. Like maybe this week we'll be listening to political hip hop, and then we'll discuss it in class. The following week we'll listen to a selection of songs by women in hip hop, and then we'll discuss that, and we'll discuss all the genderism that goes on in hip hop and stuff. And then maybe they'll have to write a paper on that, and then we talk about hip hop around the world and how something that started just 45 years ago in New York City could blossom in that short amount of time to being a worldwide phenomenon that's now the largest, most imitated culture on the planet, basically. You know what I mean?
Through clothing, through everything, yeah.
Right. So the history of hip hop is like American history and world history all at once. So I think
and Jamaican history.
Oh man, absolutely. Because
Cool Herc brought it from Jamaica.
Absolutely, brother. So you know what's up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm cool with a lot of art. I want to get into that. I want to get into that.
The whole sound system, the whole sound system shit, that all came from the Jamaican parties, man. The DJs. Absolutely.
Let me tell you something, man. Cool Herc brought it from Jamaica, right? Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, when you hear Beanie Man and all these brothers, these are rappers. They just rappers with accents.
Right.
They just spit lyrical, spit the different flow. They just rap with accent, but they rapping. Mm-hmm. You understand me? So now the beat that they rapping on is just dancehall. It's just more melodic and it's danceable beats, but they rappers. Right. Absolutely. That's why Beanie Man and Bounty Killer back in the days, they meshed so well with Mobb Deep, man. They could jump on tracks with everybody because...
And dudes like Shinehead and Mad Lion.
Mad Lion.
So real dope.
Exactly.
Super dope. Just Ice even too, man. Like,
Just Ice. I remember him, yeah.
These cats will be killing it because of that flavor that they bring in from the island. Absolutely.
And this is going to lead to my other question. Since you're a legend in Boston, man, and not just Boston either, you're underground legend. Period. In my opinion, you understand me?
Thank you, brother.
So, like, I know Boot Camp Click in New York, they played a pivotal role in a newer artist's career like Young M.A. Now, what is Akrobatik doing? Have Akrobatik helped any other newer artists?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been doing stuff. Different age groups, too. You know, like, for instance, like some of my students who take my class at UMass Boston are artists that are getting started. They're not all hip-hop artists, but every class there's usually one or two, and they're taking the class because they're into it. And I make myself available to them beyond just the classroom, you know what I'm saying? So they can always reach out. But then also, man, I just do a lot of features with artists that are from around the way. Like there's younger artists like Lotus Taylor, who is a cat that's from Cambridge. He's in his early 20s. He's dope. My man Kyle Bent, I just did a record with him. He's another Boston cat. I want to say he might be from like Randolph or Brockton, but you know, he's in the general area. And I just keep my eyes on these cats by working at the studios where they work at, for instance. So like the Bridge Sound and Stage is a studio that I work at in Cambridge with my man Archetype from Steel Gold. And like, you know, a lot of the younger artists, that's where I met the cats from
How about Cousin Stiz?
My man Mo Pope. I don't know Cousin Stiz.
You don't? Okay.
I'm not, but he's from Phil's Corner. I used to live in Phil's Corner. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't been in Boston, by the way, y'all, in like 7-8 years, and I know
I hear him when I play 2K. You know, I got a lot of students that are big fans of his. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's on there on the video games?
Yeah, he's on 2K. He's doing his thing.
I heard that.
Absolutely. Seen the videos and all that.
And he's from Phil's Corner. I didn't know that.
Yep. And then there was somebody else I was about to mention a second. Oh, Dutch Rebel. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Yeah, I met the sister. I met her in Atlanta, actually.
Yeah, man. So she's been doing her thing for a while now. But to me, it's like a short time still. But, you know, she's somebody else on the scene who's really dope. And then, of course, you know, I'm going to rock with my peers and shit like that a lot. But I'm definitely out there with my ear to the streets for the younger cats and even younger cats outside of Boston, you know. So wherever they might be from, people all over the world, I'm open to making music. But being part of the Boston scene is vital to me. And, you know, I hope that MCs will continue to reach out to me. But I go to the shows, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, there's a company called New England Mixtapes, and they do like monthly, well, you know, it's COVID-19 season now, but you know, they would do a monthly hip hop showcase where he have like a whole roster of young artists, and then he'll bring in like a local headliner. So I got to do that, you know what I'm saying? And through that, I got to meet a lot of young artists too, man, and like producers that send me beats, and I do things like you know, like be judges at MC battles and be judge at like beat producer battles, because the producers, that's another thing.
That's another big core element, and
core element. So like I'm meeting all of these cats, you know what I'm saying, and really just digging what they're doing. And of course, you know, there's only so many hours in a day, so you're not always going to be hearing all of it. But like some of those key cats, man, I definitely know who they are. And I would say Kyle Bent is somebody that people should.
Kyle Bent, I'm gonna look out for him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look out for him. I'm looking for. Now, years ago, you was on a compilation, man, a dope ass compilation. I think I had the Celtics logo on the outside of it, and it was you and like I think even 7L and Esoteric. What happened to them brothers, man? 7L, it was dope. 7L and Esoteric.
7L and Esoteric. You know, I'll say this. First of all, they were one of the first underground Boston acts I ever saw with actual wax, like with a vinyl record out. So,
really?
Yeah,
wow.
they had you know, from my movement. I mean, there was RSO and Edo and stuff, but I'm talking about like an independent record. It wasn't on a major label.
No major label.
They had a jam called Be Alert and this other one called Strontium 90. I still remember those joints because they're just so impactful because of what was going on at the time. But now, 7L and Esoteric, I mean, those are my boys, man. I've known them for so long. They introduced me to John Cena. I ended up doing some work with him. You know what I'm saying? And now 7L and Esoteric have been in a group with Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan, and they're on like their 4th album. They got an album. They got an album. They have 4 albums with Inspector Deck. One of them has Ghostface featured on it. The other one has MF Doom on every song.
MF Doom,
They're touring. They're doing their thing. And honestly, man, that might be my favorite hip-hop act out of Boston right now.
Word? I like them a lot. I used to like the
Czarface. The group is called Czarface. And
okay.
CZARFACE. And they got like a Marvel comic looking kind of logo.
Yeah, they was always into that kind of vibe right there. Yeah,
and you know it's Inspector Deck, so it's like they got joints with almost every member of Wu-Tang over the last 5 years.
You serious?
I'm serious. Damn. And the live show was dope, and honestly, man, Esoteric sounds better than ever now.
Word?
You know what I'm saying? Some people, like I said, some people have their prime later on.
Yeah, he's like fine wine, right? Like with
man, he's grown into his voice. You know what I'm saying? It just really sounds great. And is doing a lot of cool stuff out there with a lot of cool artists. So
I remember when I was in South Bay, man. not the mall area, the other South Bay. And I was I remember when I did a little 6 months over there, and I used to listen to 88.9. I used to hear Axe songs, 7L Esoteric, Main Teeth. Shout out to Main Teeth from Heath Street. You know, all these other brothers, man. And I was like, damn, this is dope right here. These dudes right here.
I mean, so many cats.
T-Max, Todd.
Of course. Fancy Island, that was my jam.
Yeah. T-Max. That was like one of the first brothers from the hood, right? That in Boston, I was messing with New Kids in the Block. I was messing with New Kids on the Block,
G-Spin was managing them and breaking records. Like you said, the DJ's breaking the records, man. DJ G-Spin broke that Fantasy Island record. Huge.
Shout out to G-Spin and Roy Barboza. Because I met them cats through Omega Red. Omega Red introduced me to So like we spoke about that earlier, right? Behind the sceneries. Why DJs are not breaking records no more? It's like they lost that mystique, right?
It's just the internet, man. It's because you can just show up at a party with your iPhone playlist already loaded up and just shuffle through, and the people in the party don't really care as long as the song comes on. So it's a really, it's just a fast food generation. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about so much the artistic process of it. Like, why learn how to play the violin if you can just press a button and get the violin notes right there and put it in your beat type thing? But I think that, honing actual musical skills is beneficial to any hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know how things work. So like cats who make beats, for instance, the game changed at a certain point where it became really expensive to just sample something from somebody.
Yeah.
A lot of records.
You lost your whole budget.
Yeah. And a lot of record labels right now won't even accept music with samples. Or like if you want to get your music on a video game, if your song has samples in it, they probably won't accept it. Stuff
they don't want the lawsuits.
And a lot of artists. Yeah, there'll be lawsuits, and a lot of artists don't understand that, like, that licensing money, all that stuff is, you have to have all those revenue streams open, because you're not going, fame does not pay the bills.
Yeah.
Being famous does not pay the bills.
You gotta tell them
Everyone
that.
can
Tell
know
them.
who
Tell
you
them.
are. Everyone can know who you are, and you can be broke. Everyone can know who you are, and you can be homeless. Everyone.
Well,
can know
if
who
you
you
don't
are,
know
and
what
you
you're
be living
doing,
at your mother's
if
house.
you're not a mogul, if you're not a business-minded person, artist, if you're just solely an artist,
Or
because fame can bring you money if you know what to do with it. Yeah.
You might just be an attention whore, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, a female artist can just kind of come out and be all naked up on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, and have 500,000 followers before the album even drops. Then the album comes out and it's not good, and now everybody just wants that content that she had been given before for free. That's all they really want from her.
Yeah.
So now how's she gonna make that money back? And then you have the dudes that be perpetrating about how much money they actually make, or they do make a little money. They go to the jewelry store and buy a chain so that they can impress people watching them online that they're never even going to meet. And they think that the fame that they attained is going to be enough to support them through a whole career. But in order to be able to retire as a hip hop artist, or to retire as somebody who spent a lot of time making hip hop, you better be touring a lot. You better be ready to do a whole lot of work. There's really not
have some good writers credit on other people's albums.
Yeah. It's no real easy.
Well, you still got the publishing. Yeah. Publishing's where the money at, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to get a royalty check every quarter. You know, like right now, me and Liv, our last album, we got like a song that's on a movie soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that comes in handy, and that's been a saving grace for me, man. Like having songs in video games and like on The Wire and stuff like that, and in movies. Those are the ways that, okay, yeah, your song might not be jumping off in every club because it doesn't have the subject matter that people want to hear when they're at a club, but there's a place for it, and people still enjoy it, and you can find the places where your music will be beneficial.
You've had songs on video games, right?
Yeah,
remember that. You was like you were the only first cat I ever met that year.
That's an attainable thing. So like, you might have some hardcore hip hop track. Like, for instance, I had in 2014, I put out my album Built to Last.
I remember that.
The single was the album title, Built to Last. And so when I dropped that record, it did cool. People liked it. I had a video, it got a nice amount of views. But what really did it for me was when EA Sports hit me up and said they wanted the song on the UFC video game. You know what I'm saying? So like, how many people bought that? You know what I'm saying? Maybe not so many people bought my album, but how many people bought the UFC video game and my song is their intro theme?
But was that I need to ask you this though. Was that a one-time deal, or was that a one-time payoff, or residual? Or was that something where you could obtain royalty for a long time, or for that?
Well, I don't want to get too specific.
No, you don't have to.
No, but I can explain it though. I think what I would say is that type of thing, from my experience, has usually been a one-time thing.
Thing.
But for video games. But residuals, you know, TV shows, movies,
that's right.
commercials, stuff that comes up on the internet, radio play. You get little pay. Maybe it's only a quarter or 15 cents for each one, but they add up. So like, you know, you get more money from that stuff than you do, or I do anyway, than from like streams. So you can look at somebody's views on YouTube or streams on Spotify and see this huge number, but you know, like 2 million views on a video on YouTube doesn't really turn into any money unless you use the exposure that you got from that to book a tour, so that the 2 million people who saw your video and loved it might buy a ticket to come see you on tour. Then the promoter's going to be, then you get to decide how much you're going to charge the promoter for your show. And so that's where, you know, a lot of that turns into like a profit potential for an artist, because people don't buy music anymore. They just subscribe to streaming services. And then the streaming services rob the artist by paying just pennies per listen.
Pennies, yeah.
If that. So it's kind of hard to think that you would just be able to put songs out and based off your streams, just, you know, you certainly won't be rich off streams. You got to do something else. You got to go on tour.
Do other things.
You have to get licensing. Yeah. So and there's other ways that artists can. You just have to have multiple revenue streams. There's no reason to try to fool anyone into thinking that I rap and all I do is rap, and because of that, I'm rich, and all y'all broke motherfuckers are jealous.
Yeah, right.
That's a terrible way to. Why do that to yourself? Because
Mm.
if you don't do that to yourself, no one's gonna hold you to it. Nobody ever comes up to me and says, "Yo, Ak, where's the Bentley?" Or "How come you're not rich off of this shit? You never made it." Nobody ever says that. They know I made it because success is what you put into something, not what you put out. You know, that's
what it is to me. Is implementing what you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And making it happen. That's just talking about it. Actually, putting it into existence. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not having the $10 million, the going diamond. It's not just that. You know what I mean?
I think that the last half a year or so has shown everyone that it might be a little bit better to be slightly more humble towards things like that, because when you have an event that kind of brings everybody to the same level, no matter how much money you have, like, okay, for a couple of months, no one can leave the house. People are allergic to each other right now. Nobody's giving each other a hug. So we're kind of all on the same level. So I don't really want to hear a bunch of songs about stuff that isn't even real right now. You know what I mean? Or I definitely ain't going to spend no time on Instagram watching people flex money and shit like that. Who cares?
And they still doing it. A lot of rappers out there, they just still doing it. I saw one today, and I was like, I ain't even gonna mention the name because I ain't with that. But it's like I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more things you could be doing with that money. That shit, you buying a brand new $80,000 car. You showing everybody how you buying that. You could be feeding people with that. You could, that don't have nothing during the pandemic. You know what I mean? There's just so many other things you could do.
You talk about mental health, brother. I really feel like it might be a sign of faltering mental health if you get pleasure from doing better than other people and seeing their reaction to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, I don't really know what positive quality does that represent in a person's character. I don't really know. But maybe there's something I'm missing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't try to come off as being too judgmental. But
I think it's insecurity. I think it's straight up insecurity.
That's kind of what I think.
That's because you have it. I mean, you insecure from when you never did have it. And you just stuck on that right there. Yeah. You just always want to show, look, I'm better than you. Look at what I got. Insecurity.
That's a fleeting thing. Like the people who are legit, that have that kind of attention and that kind of adoration from a public, those are usually the people that care the least about that shit. They're just living their life and they're with their family and they're doing their thing, and that's that. They're not sitting around wondering how many people liked something or how many comments or what somebody said about their video. They're just doing their thing. And like I said, putting their success into it and living their lives, doing the things that they truly enjoy. So if what you enjoy doing with your time is trying to make other people envious of you, then I guess, enjoy that. I would just say enjoy that if that's really what does it for you. But that wouldn't work on me anyway, not in 2020.
I like the humble cat. The humble cat is me personally, I'm a flamboyant cat when I'm ready. I like flamboyancy and a lot, but my heart is humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
there's a difference. There's a difference between being colorful and vibrant and flashy a little bit if you want. There's a difference between that and being like condescending. Like I got this and you don't, so you're less
conceited. Yeah.
I don't think that that's hip hop, man. I think that is only appropriate when you're talking about skills. Yeah. Like, yo, I'm the nicest on the mic, and until you prove otherwise, I'm gonna keep saying that. But as far as, there's people that don't rap that make way more money than rappers. Like, it just there's no logic. There's just no logic behind that. I don't think. You
kill yourself trying to get right here and rap. Some people do it in some messed up ways to get here. Yeah. Only to find out that your next door neighbor didn't have to do all that, and your next door neighbor is a financial advisor or something, exactly. At some firm or something, and live in a house bigger. Look,
like my boy Lift don't even need to rap if he don't want to, because he's doing his thing in the real estate business.
In the real estate business?
Yeah, he raps for fun. We get together and make an album for fun, and then he goes back and does his real estate shit, and I go back and prepare my syllabus from my class. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with the family. If I feel inspired, I'll make a few songs, and then eventually I got a little project I can put it out. And, go on tour, see a few countries, come back home, set up my syllabus for the next semester.
Low key.
Audition for a few voiceover gigs, in my spare time. Other than that, man, it's Madden and 2K and Blue Dream. You know what I'm saying?
True. Low key. I was at Park Street one time some years back, and I jumped on the Green Line train. And when I jumped on the Green Line train, it was a dark-skinned, tall gentleman that was on the train also, older dude. And I think he was sitting down at first. Then he stood up because he was about to get off at the next stop. I think after Park is like Boston Street around there or something. And once he stood up, somebody looked at him. Then the other person looked and recognized him. Then all of a sudden, and within 5 minutes, everybody was taking selfies and trying to take pictures of this dude. I'm like, who this dude is? And then after that, I try to add up the information with his height and all that. Humble dude. Got on the train just like everybody else, sat down quiet, didn't want to get noticed. Bill Russell from Celtics.
Oh, wow. Wow, I wouldn't have been able to even keep my composure.
Bill Russell, man.
Super legend.
And I was like,
top tier legend.
Yeah, man. But humble. Yeah, talking about humble. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the finals MVP trophy is named after that man.
Imagine that.
Humble. And so that's how you show them, though. You lead by example. You know what I mean? And those are the cats that I look up to and learn from, man. I can't just, everybody's at different stages in their life. I'm at a stage in my life where it wouldn't impress me to see somebody with, 10 chicks surrounding them in the video or something. Like that doesn't impress me, man. Like what impresses me is like longevity and consistency.
I was about to say that, longevity.
Yeah.
What impresses me is how, from where I come from and from where we come from, is when a 20-year-old man can make it to 40. That's what impresses me.
Hell yeah. I know I felt real good when I hit that landmark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, last time I spoke to Chuck D, what he said to me on his way off the phone, he was like, all right, brother, I'm going to link up with you soon. I'm about to go play in my 60s.
That's what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. And he just turned 60 August 1st.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, man, it's like, we take for granted the fact that like the whole entire run is worth living. I would rather live till 90 just moderately, just okay, getting
with
by.
Peace.
Peace and happiness and a healthy lifestyle versus, blowing up beyond my imagination and my wildest dreams, but only living for 25, 30 years. There's just way too many chapters to be written. You know what I mean? And I've been on death's doorstep. I understand what it means. I understand what it means, man. One time I was in my crib, fell asleep on a Thursday, woke up, it was Sunday, and my chest was in 2 pieces. You see what I'm saying? So like
you had a health scare, right? I heard about that.
I had to have emergency heart surgery. I'm coming up on 10 years next May will be since then, man. And like, so I'm just saying, I understand. And because I was saved, thankfully, because I was spared, I can just say that like I got to see firsthand what it was doing to people, the thought of me possibly leaving. So it's not just your life ending, but it's like all the people that are affected by it. And
seeing all the prayers and everything like that. I was in Costa Rica when I heard that.
Yeah, people still to this day come up to me at shows like, yo, we was praying for you, big dog. I appreciate that so much more than people know. So I make sure to put my message of thanks in my music and all that, you know what I'm saying? Let people know I don't take that lightly, and that's why I don't take this life thing lightly and what I'm going to do with the time I have remaining, because I just understand how delicate it is and just how much of a gift it is. And I think sometimes people lose sight of that because they're too busy comparing themselves to what other people might be doing when no one's timeline is the same. So you can't really compare yourself to what anybody else is doing. There's people in this world that got their first $1 million at 60.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't make it no less of $1 million, because a lot of people that got $50 million at 20 are homeless at 60. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how they did their thing. How many cats from the NBA and the NFL have all that money, spend it crazy, or rappers, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you
got nothing to show for it,
and by the time they are age, they broke.
Yeah.
And working at a Wendy's or something. It could happen.
And that's worse when you're mental too. Worse.
Absolutely. When you've climbed that staircase and then now you realize you can't get back there. But we have something going for us, G, as artists, which is we're not professional athletes. So it doesn't matter that I can't dunk no more. That doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Although if I trained for it, I'm sure I probably could. But I'm saying we're not judging our timeline based on that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, LeBron is 35, he's getting old. I mean, maybe for a basketball player, you know what I'm saying? But look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 43, and he's one of the best professional football players, one of the best professional athletes. So to be a rapper, that sounds to me like you could rap till you're 70.
Yeah.
If you could play pro football and be out there with Aaron Donald chasing you at 43 years old, and you know if he hits you, you're gonna get up because you take care of yourself. Imagine what you could do when the tool that you're using is your voice.
Yeah.
And your mind. You can do that forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like my man Stephen Hawking, you know what I'm saying? You make the most out of your circumstances and you know, make the best out of this run, because it's not forever. But you know, if you take care of yourself, you increase your chances of having some longevity.
Facts. I'm not gonna hold you up too long because I know you got some more recording to do, stuff like that. But
I'm right in here.
But I'm gonna say something though. I used your name as bragging rights before. I gotta admit, I used your name as bragging rights before. I'm gonna tell you how real fast. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Please.
Somebody says something somewhere. I don't know where, because I'm an avid reader. So I'm always reading all over the place. He said something about, so Robert Kraft is hanging with rappers now. When he seen the picture with him and Jay-Z and Puffy, I said, nah, homie, he been doing that. Been doing that. Check out my homie Akrobatik from Boston.
No doubt.
Want to tell him about that real quick? How you met Robert Kraft? How he used to show you love?
So I dropped my first ever album called Balance in 2003. Around the time like when In the Club came out, like just to give some historical references, around that time. And at this time, if you remember, the Patriots were on a run. They had just won like their second Super Bowl.
Killing it.
Years or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like this was like Tom Brady was still a brand new, fresh face out here just. And so I had my album release party. Now, if anybody's ever seen the album cover for Balance, I'm wearing a Patriots jersey. And the cover of the album has like a filter on it, so you can't see the color of the jersey or anything or what style it is. But in the newspaper, there was an ad for my album release party, and the actual color photo of me in that jersey was in the paper, and Mr. Kraft saw it. And he saw that I had on one of the cheap replica versions of the jersey.
Yeah.
So he was like, nah, we're going to bring this guy. He read the story. He was really impressed with what he read about me being from Dorchester and all of that, my come up. He came to my album release party. They surprised me like 10 minutes before I went on. They were like, Ak, you got to come to the stage, whatever. Mr. Kraft was out there. He took the mic, gave a speech to the crowd, told the crowd how he was reading about me in the paper, and he was really impressed about this kid from Dorchester. He was like, but it was one thing. He was wearing a Patriots jersey, but it was a replica. And this guy's the real deal, right? And he pulls the mic to the crowd. He's like, so we're going to give him the real deal. And he gives me the Patriots jersey with my name, Akrobatik, on the back. You know what I'm saying? And that was
with the signatures, right? With the autographs, right? From the players.
Man, and a pin. No, there was no signatures.
Oh, was it? I thought it had.
It just had my personalized name on the back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then like a pin, a Super Bowl pin. And it was just like, I just felt so anointed at that moment. You know
Epic moment,
like, at the height of the Patriots dynasty, this dude took
the owner
of the Patriots took time out of his schedule to come there and make that gesture. You know what I'm saying? Just out of kindness, man. And so that's something I'll always remember, definitely. And even people that I know that run across him from time to time have said that he's asked about me over the years too, to know that I'm doing okay. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it ain't just Jay-Z and Puffy and Mill and Cardi B.
All the brothers that had epic moments.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
looks out for sure.
I just wanted to take it upon myself to highlight that. I'm giving you your flowers while you're here, homie.
Well, that's a great memory, and I hope he gets all of his too, man, because he's done a lot of great things for the area for sure.
Definitely. Yo, Ak, man, Mr. Jared Bridgeman.
Yes, sir.
This is crazy, man. Fred, we was introduced by Fred, man. Fred Johnson, wherever you at in the world, homie. And we'll see this interview, man.
I'm gonna hit him up and say what's up. He's on Facebook.
Oh, you mind? Send me his link.
Yeah, he's on Facebook. I'll send you his
Send me his link. I ain't speak to him. You know, we had a group called Manslaughter, a rap group. Me and him and some other dude.
I remember.
Lyrical dudes too.
Dwayne
was Vigilante.
I just seen him.
You lying?
I just seen him in Boston before everything shut down. I had just bumped into him, and I told him, I was like, yo, give Fred my love. That's my brother right there. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm going to definitely do that. So, loosely, I'm in touch with both of them. I could definitely get you in touch with them.
Yeah. Throw me that on contact, man. Fred Vigilante. Vigilante actually had a fun fact. My homie, he had a flow like Black Thought. He was used to get it in.
He was nasty.
He was
with
nasty.
The high top fade and everything.
He used to get it in.
Good brother.
100 bars a verse.
Right. No, I remember dudes used to go in, man. I miss those days.
You remember?
Play basketball and rap.
Did you come by the spot when time we had our Friday get-togethers when we was freestyling and all that?
I don't think so.
I don't know if you came, you didn't, right? But I know me and you got up, me and you met, and we got up when we was with Fred in the car, freestyling and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's always Fred. Being in Fred's whip, just I wonder to this day, like I hope I wasn't bothering the hell out of him because I was always trying to play him my new shit because I trusted his ears. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
you know, that's one thing I love about that brother. He was that's one of the brothers that's rare to come across that wasn't a hater at all.
Right.
You know, some dudes
wasn't a yes man neither. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't the type. He wasn't the type to hear your shit playing in the car and try to lower the volume, and act like you on the phone, like you on a phone call. You know what I'm kind. You know the type, right?
He was my biggest supporter, man. He was the first cat that I ever rapped with. We had albums. Yes. We had Pause Mix albums. MC Stud and MC Tick.
MC Stud.
I'm talking about, but I'm saying I was like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying?
They could put together some beat, like sample some beats and do some crazy stuff. He had a crazy technique.
Yeah, we was using like 2 tape recorders. We'd record
That's what he was doing.
Off the radio and then splice little beats of the instrumental to make a full beat, like 4 beats, bars at a time. And eventually, it was long enough for us to do a whole song. It might go off beat every once in a while. That was literally like planting the seeds for
Red Swing.
You know, what's going on to this day. So I'll always love that brother, man.
Red Swing, Polka G, Vigilante, and all them brothers, man. Much love to them brothers, man. Yo, good chatting with you, Owen.
Good chatting with you.
You know what I'm saying? Me, stay in touch. Send me them links, man.
I will send you those links. I'll send them to your email, and I'm always here, brother. Anytime you need.
And we're gonna I'm gonna do a little booking with you over there in Costa Rica and some other places in Colombia. And they love hip hop over there.
Man. And I need some time on the beach, so I'm all for it, brother.
Yeah, let's do that, man.
My man, you take
care.
Be
safe,
of yourself,
right?
Man. You
too, Akrobatik.
Great to see you. Much love. Much love.
T.Y.S. Miami, and that was the homie, the legend, Boston legend, Akrobatik.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.